Hi, my name's Jonathan, and I love mushrooms. Raul.
My name is Raul, aka your pal Raul, and I also love mushrooms.
My name's Sudia. You can call me Z, and you know it. I already love to give massages.
My name's Jeff.
And we got Jeff in the mix. And last but not least, our special guest.
My name is Daniella, and I fucking love mushrooms.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Knowledge, Nonsense, and Reasoning.
The fun guys are here.
Fun Guys edition. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our last episode of the season. It's finally over. We did it. We did it. We created something with our minds, and we ended up in a nice little office/studio, thanks to our friends, our producers, and the people that believe in us.
And the great team that we're working with.
We're very excited to come out with more content in the future for season 2 and going forward. But we finished off this wonderful season in the midst of a global pandemic with our friend over here, Daniela, and more friends in the table, on the table.
So something I want to go back to. You said that in Asia they've been using mushrooms as medicine basically for thousands of years. Now, do you think that Western culture would ever catch up to that, or feel comfortable using it in that fashion?
There's actually a huge rise in awareness around medicinal mushrooms, which is kind of a good thing, but also kind of a bad thing because, of course, it becomes kind of like, when it comes to supplements, for example, that's where you kind of have to be mindful, where it's like, is somebody going to create a supplement for materialistic, like capitalist purposes, or do they actually care about the medicinal value? So, it's a beautiful thing because at the end of the day, with that awareness, we can choose to do our own research and to really, we have access to that. So why not dive into it? Like the documentary also, like I said, we have these resources that we can learn from it. So, I guess that's kind of the blessing in disguise, where at least more people are hearing about it. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah. And you want more people to hear about it, but then with that rise, wouldn't the capitalist aspect go into it? Because the more people that would want to consume at that point, they would have to buy it, and some company would start to, ruin that process, I guess, for lack of a better term. And then, is that something that you think about? That it's so great that more people would have access to this thought process, to the mushrooms, but then would it be bastardized in that process as well?
Right. I mean, my process with it was like, I saw the documentary, and at the same time, I was introduced to a company that had medicinal mushrooms. I looked into it. I really, really resonated with not only the values of the company itself, but after doing research of the various products that they have on the market, I was like, holy shit, they have a lot of pretty, they have a lot of just like, it's a nice pretty label. They just stick it on there and they sell it. And then when you really look into what it is, it's like a placebo effect, So it's just like, you just got to really look into it. And it just, at the end of the day, depends on how passionate you are about it, how much you're really interested in incorporating it into your life. Because if it's something that, if you care about what you're putting into your body, then, you'll look into that and you'll make sure that you're getting something legit.
Yeah. But unfortunately, a lot of people, they just see that pretty label and they're like, oh, okay, this works. And they don't.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And they don't look into the things. And I guess that's part of the bigger problem too, that people will just trust the label as soon as they get it.
Right.
Yeah. Have you been able to find any companies that work in medicinal mushrooms that, have a good message and are doing a good job, I guess, for, like a better term?
Yes, absolutely. So I work with Live Ultimate. I am an ambassador for them. They they are one of the top distributors for medicinal mushrooms. They also have a superfood greens elixir. They make their own CBD. So they go, and they also have their own skincare line. So they are very much about, what you're.
Daniela, we're losing you. You're breaking up.
Their practices, how they grow their mushrooms, how they like just the whole process behind how they do it. It really resonated with me, and so that's who I vouch for. Live Ultimate.
Live Ultimate, ladies and gentlemen. Shouts to them.
Live Ultimate. You heard it here.
And what other companies do you know? I mean, I know On It. That's the only one that I've really been like familiar with. That, and I've actually tried some of their stuff, and it was some pretty good stuff. I had nothing but good reviews for that their product. But I'm looking forward to diving into Live Ultimate. Shouts to them one more last time.
Live Ultimate.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Avatar State. Oof, you know.
Oh my God! Don't even tell me.
That's what I'm talking about.
Drop it. Let's talk about it.
Let's go.
Watched
go.
Avatar and The Legend of Korra. I was like, I don't know what to do with my life anymore.
Dude, I'm literally on the last episode of Korra. I started and I always stop. I'm like, dude, I don't want this to end. I don't want this to end at all. So
Dude.
I've watched the first 10 minutes at least. I sort of got like 6 times, bro. I'm a huge fan. Huge fan right now.
I'm still not done with Korra. I'm like barely in Korra.
You gotta get
Oh
on
my
that, man.
gosh.
Yeah. So I will get there. Don't. But hey, we could talk about it.
And it's funny when I was reading about Live Ultimate, you know, when I was doing my little homework, it was talking about like, I mean, it's in the name, Live Ultimate, getting to that peak state of mind to be able to perform at a very, very, very efficient rate. And also creativity is just flowing through your fingernails, everything about it. And all I could think about was like tuning into the avatar state and being one with like your senses, with the spirits, with your with energy, with everything, you know. And I like that a lot. You know.
Yes, dude. Oh, it's so symbolic because it's like everything has to come together in order for you to fully thrive and not just live, but actually embody your highest self. Like your physical health has to be on point, your mental, spiritual, emotional health. And that's really what the avatar state is. It's like literally tapping into that. And it's like, I feel like that is just like it shows us a possibility of like our superpowers. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
badass.
I mean, even Miguel mentions it to me all the time. I believe it's called the peak state, right, Miguel?
Yeah, the power of the triad.
Power of the triad. So like basically being able to reach that like peak state, like turn on the avatar, like how the avatar, once they master the avatar state, they're able to just switch it on and switch it off. Like getting to that point of just like
You have ultimate control.
mind power.
Yeah, well,
Right.
your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, all of it connected as one, and to have control of it in all aspects. I guess that would be the ultimate balance of things, wouldn't it? Just
Yes,
to be able to
absolutely.
control yourself in all matters. Because who really has ultimate like self control like that? I'm
Not
sure
me.
not these guys. That's for sure. Not these guys.
Well, the beauty is that I don't think anyone does. And that's why we're here, is to be on the journey of getting there, knowing that we probably will never reach it. And that's totally cool. You know, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's the journey to it. That's the aspiration. Maybe it's not about the goal. It's about the aspiration of reaching those goals, even if you know that they might not be as realistic as you would like. But what a journey that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about the journey for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, people make the most like the drastic change in their life when they take control of it, you know. And when you like in any fashion of what you would think taking control is, like whether it's taking control of an addiction that you have instead of letting the addiction control you, you know, I think that through tapping into your avatar state, you are more you're prone more to have control of your life by reaching that peak of like thinking and processing, you know, because you're not just acting off emotion, off impulse. You're acting off of you, like me, Jonathan is making this decision, not alcohol is making this decision or loneliness is making this decision. No, it's me. It's Jonathan without any outside ego. And we were talking about this. We've been talking about meditating for quite some time. And I'd love to have conversations with you about meditating, where my friend Raul here feels like he can never, he meditates, but he's not like really meditating. And I talk about how I recently was able to like meditate and like really like benefit from meditating. And it's me separating me and my ego and just separating my ego and all my outside influence and just having that form of energy where it's just Jonathan without any of outside noise. It's just a ball of energy. That's me. What came into this world, you know? and I've tapped into that, and it's been a really, 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 really cool experience. So how, like, what do you feel about that? How do you feel about meditating and tapping into that state of mind?
Well, I think that meditation is definitely a practice. It is something that can take weeks, months, even years until you feel like you're actually comfortable with it. And something that I learned in one of my yoga teacher trainings is a student had asked the teacher, like, how do you know that you meditated? Like, how do you know? And the teacher was like, when you come back, like when it's over. You know what I mean? Because it's like if I'm sitting here and I close my eyes and I'm just like, after a few minutes, I'm like, yeah, I'm meditating right now. It's like, no, you know, it's like it's something that you just surrender to. And one of the biggest things, it's like I think a lot of people actually have that issue where, the mind chatter starts to take over and you feel like you allow that to get in the way of the experience. But then you just have to sit with yourself longer. Or you can also use certain tools. You can use binaural beats to help you get into a state of meditation, or you can use guided meditation where someone is using specific words to help relax your mind and to help keep you present, because that's essentially what meditation is. Meditation is a focused state of concentration. So it's like you're just focusing on one thing in that moment. And in that one thing that you're concentrating on is kind of where you just surrender to yourself. And that's where you find that peace and that stillness that everybody's looking for when you meditate, And it also, it's worth mentioning that like meditation can be driving. Meditation can be cooking. It can be doing art. It can be walking. Like you can make anything into a meditation. It's just about bringing absolute presence into that moment and really just being with yourself.
I love it. I love you. The best. I wish you weren't so far away. I wish we could give you all. We could just have one big group hug right here.
Dude, yes.
How's living over there in north? Hey, virtual group
Virtual
hugs,
hugs.
everybody. How's a change of scenery like that? You're still in North Carolina, I assume, right?
Yeah. I picked up everything. I left what was familiar to me, which is Miami, born and raised. I will always love Miami forever. But, COVID happened, things just kind of aligned. And it was just like, well, time to make moves. You can either be resistant to change, or you can just allow it to take its course. So I'm here now in North Carolina, close to the Asheville area, which is like a super mecca of spiritual community. It's really, really beautiful. So I absolutely loved it here. Like it was a blessing to come here for sure.
When'd you go up there?
I got here at the end of July. That was when I
Okay.
moved up. Yeah. And I'm literally like in the woods now. I actually got here and I found out there was reishi growing in my backyard. So I was like, yo, I'm not mad about being here. Like, this is super dope.
Oh
So,
man, did it
yeah.
find you or did you find it at that point, huh?
Dude, we just like, we called each other.
We called each other.
Yo, what up? Hey, how's it going?
Yeah. It was like,
Where you
yo.
at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
Nice, man.
Yeah.
But to go back to meditating, yeah. See what Jonathan was talking about about the separation of you and then the outside ego. Yeah, that's something I definitely struggle with at times, separating myself, and then there's the ego aspect of myself. Because sometimes you get caught up in that shit, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? For sure, I definitely catch myself sometimes being caught up on that ego side. So it's so interesting to meet people who have such great control of that and creating a separation of that, like yourself.
Oh, dude, I wouldn't even say that I'm like, I think that's like a day to day, like our ego is what makes us human. So to have this like battle of like, even with psychedelic ceremonies, people are like, oh, I had an ego death. And it's just like, what does that even mean? I mean, it's like, I feel like it's more about working with your ego and understanding that it's literally what makes you human and using it as a tool and really just, setting yourself up every day to check yourself when you notice and having that self-awareness of like, dude, I'm acting from a space of ego right now, but it's always going to be there. And I wouldn't say that I even like, that's still something that I work with every single day. but it is a practice. It's a work in progress. And, you know, all of us are going to die. And even when we die, we're still going to have work to do. We're still going to be like, yo, I'm in my fucking ego. Like, you know, like that's something that's always going to be there. So, yeah.
I am my fucking ego.
I
for
got a
sure.
big ego. Such a big ego. Break it down, guys. Such a big. No, I was kidding, guys. So yeah, man. It's funny because I see myself having conversations about ego deaths all the time, and I've always thought of it like as like a like what is this person talking about? What is an ego death? Like how could one possibly have an ego death? And then I mean I've come to the conclusion that it's when everything that at one point had purpose, had purpose in your life, things that you loved, hobbies, so on and so forth, those things cease to have purpose anymore because that's what that means to me. Your ego is based off of all the influences around you, whether it's people or work or hobbies. If you have an ego death, all that right there, boom, done. So you're like you're rebuilding an ego, like you know, like you're having like a rebirth, you know. And I've seen people go through. I've seen people that talk about them having it and changing for the better. But
Right.
I've personally seen someone change for the worse because of it. But you know, I think that goes into having control in your life. If you have control of who you are and you know how to let go and like reattach, like that's a really big thing with me. Being able to let go, but being able to reattach when needed. You know what I'm saying? Like being able
Right.
to realize that maybe this isn't what I need right now, but at some point in my life, I'm gonna want to touch base on this again. But for this moment, I do not want any more energy on this. So I'm gonna let go. But then as if I'm walking around and I need it or for whatever the case may be, I'm able to come back to it, you know, like in anything in life, in anything. That's how I'm living life right now. And I'm loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it.
Yes, hell yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing about the ego is that like it's there to protect us, but it's just about having to balance that out because it's like the ego will come in and be like, you know, it's very well known for like, you know, bringing up feelings of doubt or of fear or insecurity and things like that. And it's just like those things can be useful tools to check yourself, like I was mentioning, but it's just kind of like you said, like taking control and also taking responsibility and having the awareness that it's there and being like, okay, like I see you, ego, I love you, I know you're just trying to protect me, but like I'm gonna take the wheel right now, like I got this, you know, thanks for checking in on me. Like, you know, it's you gotta talk to it, you gotta befriend it because it's always gonna be there. So I feel like maybe it's just like the connotation of the words like ego death. It makes it seem like I need to destroy you, I need to eliminate you, you don't serve a purpose, when it's just like, no, it does serve a purpose. It's just about working with it, making it balanced with, and mostly allowing spirit to guide you more than your ego.
Amen, sister.
Yeah, and I don't think that it has to be a bad thing when you have an ego death. I mean, I could see why it could be a bad thing because some people don't want to change who they are, and but sometimes you need to, or things happen to you that change who you are, whether you chose to or not.
Right.
But I find I find the concept of it so intriguing. The fact that it is an ego death, and whether you chose it or not, it's gonna happen. So that version of you, that's over. But you're still you. You're still the same foundation of you. But what version comes next? And then we just keep creating different versions of ourselves throughout through our lives, for whatever version we need to be or end up being at that point, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's so intriguing to like look back on it and be like, wow, I was that person for this while and this person for this while. And and you're just a collection of different people.
Right. Depending on your life experiences or who you meet, what part of the world you end up in, you know, all of these things will like bring up different aspects of you. And it's like, this is who I get to work with now, you know, we're multidimensional beings. So to think that we're just like limited by this one perception of ourselves when we can really expand into anything that we want. I mean, that's really like the beauty of why we're here, is just playing this game, you know, life is a cosmic joke. So why not?
It's a cosmic joke. If that's not tattooed somewhere, it
Yeah,
should
I was
be.
about to say that. I was about to say that, dude. I'm like, well, I guess I got the idea from my next tattoo. Like,
Yeah, like I'm looking for one, but that life is a
That
cosmic
was
joke. Oh my
crazy.
god, I love it.
Studios. No, I'm just kidding.
Life is a cosmic joke.
Telling you, bro. Anything that I hear that I like, I'm just gonna throw studios at the
Studios.
end of it. Maybe it'll click, maybe it won't. Whatever.
Positive thoughts for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
Studios. Sure, why not? Right? Like,
Studios. Spell that one out for me.
That's awesome, dude. So with being in North Carolina, like, do you feel like you're more in tune with yourself, with like how many people are around you? Because Miami is extremely populated and you're constantly like just meeting people. Like, I feel like some people do get lost in the sauce down here and kind of forget who they are, and then just wake up like, what the fuck am I doing with my fucking life? Opposed to maybe like, I mean, I've been to North Carolina a couple times. And I have family now that lives over there, and they tell me all the time that they're very in tune with one another. It's my uncle and my aunt, and they don't have like a lot of outside noise. Granted, that their family's down here, so they communicate through like, through their phones. But like as far as like physical outside noise, it's just them. So how do you feel about being with yourself in North Carolina?
Yeah, I definitely felt a huge shift with that because, like before I left, I was living in the Wynwood area for about a year, and it was just like super saturated. I mean, you think of Miami and there's 2 million people there, like that's fucking crazy. The chances of you finding genuine connections among 2 million people, it's pretty small, It's like you got your crew, you got your squad, but it's just like in terms of that community aspect, it's like so much friendlier here. It's like I moved to a small town. I'm like an hour away from Asheville, and there's 2,000 people in this town. So I went from like 2 million to 2,000, and it's like everybody knows everybody. I literally have 2 neighbors. And like, the day that I got here, they came to my house and they were like, hey, we just want to introduce ourselves. If you need anything, let me know. And I was just like, holy shit, like I've never experienced that in Miami, like that genuine connection here and the respect that people have here for nature is insane, like, so that was a huge shift. And I'm super grateful to have found that here.
I guess it's settled, Raul. We're gonna have to do a podcast in North Carolina, dude.
I'm ready to
In
go
the
hop in the car right
forest.
now. We're doing the
With-
podcast live from the
with
forest.
some fun guys.
With some fun guys. That's
Yes, dude,
yes,
come through.
yes.
Plenty
Oh.
of forest, plenty of fungi. It's all here.
It's cool, man.
That's
Hey, way to make me
That's
feel
something.
special, by the way. In the town of 2 million people, you and I became friends, and we did some cool shit. We met XXYYXX together, dude. I think about that shit all the time, bro.
Yes, dude.
how
Oh,
did that happen?
A lot of fun times, bro. We went to his show, dude, and he was
Oh,
just.
and you went to the show. You were like, "Hey,
it's at,
we're
It
here."
was at Bordeaux,
It was
right?
at Bordeaux. It was at Bordeaux.
Bordeaux's a
dude.
nice spot.
Bordeaux's a
Bordeaux's
great
a
nice
spot.
spot.
R.I.P. Bordeaux.
R.I.P.
It was a
Bordeaux.
while ago, didn't
Yeah,
Yeah.
it closed a while back.
it?
That
Yeah, I was
a
so
great spot.
sad. It was such a vibe. I was like, dude.
And they would get really cool people to go. I mean, granted, dude, we're watching XXYYXX, dude. It's some
Yeah.
trippy shit.
I
But even
saw
at
Bob
that-
Moses there.
Dude,
Yeah.
nothing was the same. Nothing was the same.
What were we talking about?
XXYYXX. Felt the same way about Grand Central. When Grand Central closed down,
Oh
I actually
my
got to go to the last show ever at Grand Central.
who was performing?
wow.
It was during a winter music conference. I want to say 2016. It was like a dubstep thing. Like Destructo was there, and
Yo, that sounds so sick.
Destructo
Oh my god, I was
and
so sad when Grand Central closed. That was another one. I was like, all right.
Dude, so many good shows. I saw Flume there for the first time, and it was just
man, who else was there?
a lot of people. A lot of good people. There.
Who's the guy who used to perform at Club Cinema all the time?
Club Cinema, Adventure Club,
Excision?
Excision. Yes, Excision was there, but then like they were trying to get like some mainstream people to be there too. So like they had Carnage there too, and I was like, okay.
Oh,
Excision
yeah.
was dope. Didn't we go with like
Yeah, we also went to.
with the cat and shit? What?
Yeah.
That was some meow meow kitty. Blah, 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 blah. Like what?
Yo, that
was
shit was sick.
badass. It was sick. Good times, man. Good times. Hoping to make some more.
But something I want to go back to though is about your neighbors. So Biggie, because in Miami, I can't imagine my neighbors coming up to me and be like, "Hey, you just moved here. Nice to meet you."
Dude,
That's so crazy. So in a city of 2,000 people, people do that.
Yeah, it's like super casual, like making eye contact, smiling, saying hello. That's like the common thing to do. And it's really funny that you mentioned that because actually, when our neighbor pulled up, at first, like I've only grown up in Miami, so I got kind of freaked out. I was like, who the fuck just like pulled up in my house right now? And like he came in and he was super sweet. And then we were like, oh, wow. Like, and I almost felt myself kind of like unlearning certain behaviors that I've had in Miami, because as much as I love to connect with people, since being there, it's not really as friendly, it's not as welcoming in terms of like strangers, it's not as common for strangers to connect or even acknowledge each other. I was like, wow, like I really have to work on that here, and I have to I want to be a part of the community, so I have to like open that space to be like, hey, hi, how are you, and actually talk and connect. So it's super refreshing. Like I love that here.
And how does that tie in with you and Live Ultimate? Like as far as like you telling people about it, because I'm sure you're telling people over there that you meet, right? About the products that you guys offer?
Well, right now, so we're kind of out here. We're like in the mountains. So I have to drive out a bit. Like besides the two neighbors that I have, I have to drive quite a bit before I'm even like around groups of people. And because of the pandemic, like there's no events, like there's no really like gatherings going on. So most of the work that I do is through social media. But yeah.
And where could we find you on social media, Daniella?
What's up?
Where could we find you on social media?
At moon.goddess69 on Instagram.
That's what I'm talking about, girl. Awesome,
Yeah.
man. That's cool stuff. And so when it comes to the product that you sell, like, do you have like personal favorite as far as like what you're taking in from Live Ultimate, or do you like have something that you lean towards more than others, whether it's
What do you take every day?
So I take the Superfood Greens elixir. It's a blend of 25 different superfoods, and it also has 4 medicinal mushrooms in it. I take that every day in the morning on an empty stomach.
you're saying?
And I also take it with the shrooms, the Ultimate Shrooms, which has 8 medicinal mushrooms. I take their CBD. Oh, you guys are so cute.
You had us at elixir. No, I'm just kidding. Go on.
Dude, yes. But yeah, that's pretty much what I take. I take it every single day in the morning to start my day. It gives me a lot of energy, a lot of mental clarity and focus. It was actually because of the mushrooms that I was able to cut down from caffeine. I almost don't drink coffee anymore because the same like energy levels and the same like mental focus that I was looking for in caffeine, I get from the mushrooms, but there's no crash, there's no jittery, there's no like, stress on your adrenal glands. So it's like, it's just a win-win.
That's dope. That's awesome. What do you take every morning, Raul?
A smack from life. No, I'm joking.
Yo, big facts though.
Straight up.
No, I do take a fat ass bullhead every morning, and a smile.
Hey, plant
Oh.
medicine.
A bullhead and a smile, and I start my day, and I just try to end my days a little bit better than they started.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Try to keep it simple. Once you get too complicated, there's a lot of outside forces that cloud your judgment, and
Right.
you don't need that. That's
For
honestly just that is honestly how I'm just viewing things these days. Just keep it simple,
That's good, man.
follow a path, and try to keep the outside forces to a minimum. Because we just because you're everybody's friend doesn't mean everybody's your friend.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you? What do you do in the morning?
A backflip. Like that straight out of bed. Like I
Straight,
wake
like-
up, I don't even stand up. I do a backflip from my sleeping position every morning. Go to the bathroom and I recite Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Dead Man's Chest, from start to finish. So I wake up roughly 2 hours and 29 minutes before I start my day just to do that right there, and then that gets me going.
I've seen it, and it's incredible to watch.
The backflip is the hardest part.
It's actually quite impressive.
No, so look, he does a flip out, and then the sheets are just falling, and his bed's already made too. It's
Elo puppet. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of that. A lot of that.
lots of mates and loves.
Parlay.
You know, parlay, parlay. Right? Dead man tell no tales. He said.
I like no, on a serious note, I like to start my days, and preferably I like to work out and then followed by meditation. That's if those days that I do that, I notice that those are the best type of days that I have. The most productive days that I have involve that. Whether and I recently into writing, you know, we're trying to produce a couple films out here. So me and Raul both took upon writing, and in doing by working out and meditating immediately after, my brain just like unlocks. Like I don't know if it's because my blood is pumping and my body is active, and then leading with that being said, going into a meditation in that state of mind with my whole body in that fashion, like I go off, dude. I literally just like have the most beautiful like meditation, and then that just my day skyrockets from there. But the days that I don't do that, I see that I'm still there. I'm still got that pep to my step, but like I'm sluggish with it, or I'll be prone to like eat something that's not as good for me, or make a bad decision when it comes to maybe I'm not gonna go to the gym. I'll just play some video games when I go home. But I truly like running and meditating from the get.
I love that. Consistency is key.
Yeah, man. I'm really into I'm really I mean, granted, my friend Miguel talks about it all the time about reaching that peak state of mind where you could just be in the avatar state when needed to be, and chill out when it's time to chill out. But like when you're at your peak, when you're trying to close a business deal, or you're trying to talk to a new client or someone that could benefit you, you know, like being able to tune into that. Cause dude, there are times where I feel great, like where like I see a lot when I act, when I'm reading scripts or when I'm improving, someone just says like, you're on a bus and some girl is going into labor. What do you do? And like something, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just there and I nail it. And then that feeling right after knowing that you like did a great job, you're like, yeah, I did that. Now getting that, grasping that, and being able to tune that on when needed be, bro, I'm all for it. And if you're telling me that I got mushrooms in the mix, then I'm super all for it. Are you kidding me? Let's do it. Take over the world, one mushroom at a time. Are you a fun guy? Are you a fun guy? We're all fun guys. I can't stop right now. Who put fun guys in my drinks?
Joe Rogan 2024.
Yeah, on some real shit, if you really want to expand your mental capacity and see what your brain is capable of, take mushrooms.
It's the best. It's the best.
Psychedelic and medicinal, just saying.
I gotta try some medicinal mushrooms, but the psychedelic are the best. I'm a big fan.
I want to try medicinal.
It's definitely helped me out through some clouded points in life, and it's just a nice time. Like recently we indulged and we went to the beach, and I was just in the ocean. It was nice.
Dude, that's beautiful.
I literally just waved in the ocean for like an hour.
Every time I looked over, I saw Raul at a different age. I saw a younger version of him, the current version of him, and an older version of him, only to find out that there were two guys next to him that looked very similar to him. I'm like, oh, this is just hilarious. It's not even that I'm tripping. This is just really funny.
I'm firmly convinced that he just saw me traveling through time at different points in my life.
Dude, honestly, when I take mushrooms, I feel so connected to my inner child because I just can't stop laughing.
Yes.
You just feel so silly and it gives me so much energy. It's just like, bro, I feel like my body is at its fullest capacity. Like, what can I do? I want to do everything now. You know, it's so much fun.
I have to agree with you completely. That's my favorite thing about going on a psychedelic journey, which is tuning into my inner child. My favorite thing, just being goofy and just like, you know what I'm saying, like wiggle, like all that fun stuff, you know.
You're not thinking about any inhibitions about any of it. You're just like, hey, wanna know what was really fun? Move.
Dude, actually, in the documentary they spoke about this because they did an experiment with mice. So they trained mice to have a specific fear. I think it was like when hearing a sound or like when doing something to them, so it would literally instill fear in them. And then they gave them mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, and it literally turned off the fear response in their brain. So they were saying that, and I think they actually did this, I think in the University of Miami or the University of Florida or something.
Fire. That's great.
Yeah, and they were literally like, dude, imagine what it does to us. Like, it literally turns off our fear response. I mean, there's so much research and studies that go into how psychedelic mushrooms help people with depression, with PTSD, with anxiety. Like, it's so powerful, like what they're capable of, you know, and what it can do for us.
Yeah, man. That's why I feel like some countries in Europe are so ahead because they
For
do
sure.
they have practices like that. Like they make it affordable for society and those communities to be able to have access to this. And you're not just pumping drugs, you're pumping fucking mushrooms into your body.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't think it's about it being affordable. I think it's about the problem that you're gonna have too many people that don't have fear, and you're
The
like,
government just doesn't want us to dismantle our fucking conditioning.
We'll
Like,
take over.
yeah,
they want to keep us dependent. They're like, fuck that. We can't have you be sovereign beings. Like,
you can't have everybody
on
thinking
us.
for themselves. I think that's unfortunately a
Exactly.
societal problem here.
right.
And as we're in some countries, you know, I guess due to the fact that these countries have been around for thousands of years compared to our relatively new history as a country being the United
Right.
States, you know, we still haven't gotten over that ego aspect, I guess, that we got to be in control.
I saw what you did there. You brought back the egos. You're a fun guy. Everybody.
The crowd went wild. Everybody went wild. But anyways, so because imagine if everybody even microdose, just some little microdosing throughout your day, little in the morning, little at night, you're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna be not so okay sitting in a cubicle all day.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that's gonna cause a problem for a lot of people. So
I think if you take the right dosage of a microdose, dude, you could sit in a cubicle. I mean, to each their own. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't think that you would want to sit down in a cubicle off of a microdose, then don't do it. But I think that there are people that could benefit it, but they don't even know it because
they won't even find out.
Exactly.
Right.
They can't even find out because, well, they are being pumped by a bunch of pharmaceuticals that some of them can't even afford these pharmaceuticals that they're being pumped with.
Right.
And I think that's the crazy part. That no matter what, even if it's for you, it's not even about you in those instances.
Dude, literally, it's never about us. It's not about our health. It's not about our well-being. We're all just numbers.
Yeah, nothing's in
Like-
our best interest. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like us to survive at the end of the day. You know, like we can't rely on anybody. We can't rely on any government. Like that's where your humanly instincts really kick in. And guys with Live Ultimate, you'll tap into that and you'll survive any motherfucker out there. All right, governments, regimes. It doesn't matter. Live Ultimate forever, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knowledge, Nonsense, and Reasoning, and we love each and every one of you.
Yeah, you definitely covered it there.
Did I hit it? Did I hit it on the money?
You super hit on the money.
We hit it on the money. All right, Daniela, we're gonna cut off the show here. This is the last episode of our season. We're extremely happy to have you on. We want to get you back on here, which is why we're cutting it off a little short. We want to sit down with you. So this is just an appetizer for the next episode that we have, which hopefully would be in a forest with some fucking,
the fun guys with the fun guys,
the fun guys,
the fun
with
guys.
the fun guys, with the fun guys, in the fun guys everywhere, fun guys out. Thank you so much, Daniela, for jumping on KNR.
And where could everybody find you again?
On Instagram at Moon Goddess at moon.goddess69.
Absolutely. Do you have a link tree? Do you have any other places that people can find you?
Linktree, I believe, is the same thing, just Moon Goddess.
It's in her bio, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Goddess. Absolutely.
I'm a Cancer too, girl.
I'm a Cancer.
Hey,
Click,
Cancer.
click.
Water tribe.
No, my friend was trying to figure out my signs, and because I don't know anything about zodiac signs or
When's your birthday?
earth signs. December 5th, 1995. No, but my
You're
friend
Sagittarius.
I'm a Sagittarius. Well, that I know, but like she went deeper, whatever. Somehow, apparently, I'm a moon Taurus on something, in some aspect. I was like, oh, look at that.
You had me actually one deeper, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Knowledge, Nonsense, and Reasoning. Daniela, thank you for tuning in for
Thank
our
you.
last show of the season.
Thank you for being here. We're happy to have you on. I definitely learned a lot. What do you say you did as well?
I'm a fun guy, and I will always be a fun guy, but I'm going to talk to Daniela to be an OG fun guy.
Yeah,
Hey.
we're a bunch of posers over here for sure.
I go to drum circles. We love you, Daniela. Thank you so much for jumping on. This is it. One last time. Knowledge,
Nonsense
and reasoning. Good
out.
night.